Hey everyone, how's it going? Mr. Cho here. This is the seventh lecture, I believe. This is going to cover units, scalars, and vectors in kinematics. So, today, you'll be able to identify the variables and units used in kinematics, distinguish between scalars and vectors, and identify the different units and their possible relationships. So, kinematics. We know that mechanics has two parts, kinematics and dynamics. Well, as you learned in Unit 1, kinematics studies description of motion. Right, the key units we will have are position, speed, velocity, acceleration, distance, and displacement. We'll go over these all individually in a bit. So, scalars versus vector. A vector is something that has both a magnitude and direction. Right? Scalars only possess a magnitude. Magnitude is just the quantity of something you have. Right? So, speed is a scalar. It just shows literally how fast you're going. That is a quantity, your speed. Velocity is a vector. The velocity has a speed as a magnitude and a direction. So, velocity is a vector because it has magnitude and direction. The speed is the magnitude of velocity, but velocity has a direction. Speed can be something like 50 meters per second, right? You don't know which way it's going, but that's just how fast you're going. Velocity needs a speed, so 50 meters per second, and a direction. So, velocity would be something like 50 meters per second north. For the daily checking question, I want you guys to answer the following. What is the one thing that distinguishes the velocity and speed from being a vector and a scalar? All right. So go in and write a complete sentence on that. So for position, distance, and displacement, position, often denoted with x or y, is used to describe where an object is. As we know, a coordinate system has a horizontal axis of x and a vertical axis of y. So that's where the x and y come from. Position is a scalar because it only has a magnitude showing where something is. Distance, another scalar, denoted with d. Distance is the total amount of units that an object has traveled, right? So no matter how long and curvy and windy the path, the distance is just the total amount of distance that it's traveled, right? Displacement is a vector which describes how far from the origin the object has traveled in total. Right? Displacement and distance are similar but very different. Right? If there was point A and point B, and you took a roundabout way, you made a couple wrong turns, right? And you finally got to B. Your distance would be large, but your displacement would be small because from the original point and the final point, you didn't travel that much, but you took a long route, right? So, example, if an object travels 100 meters but comes back to its original position at the end, the distance it has traveled is 100 meters, but the displacement is 0. Another example, if an object travels 50 meters east and 20 meters west, the distance covered is 70 meters, but the displacement is 30 meters, right? In the first one, if you just go in a circle, you've traveled 100 meters, you have traveled that 100 meters, that's your distance covered, but your displacement is 0. You've displaced 0 meters. You haven't traveled from anywhere at the end of the day. Another example, if an object travels 50 meters east and 20 meters west, the distance covered is 70 meters because 50 plus 20 is 70. Distance is a scalar. It doesn't care what direction you're going. But displacement is 30 meters because displacement cares about the direction. All right, you went 50 meters east and 20 meters west. Effectively, you went right and then left. You started going right and then you went backwards. Right? So distance is just the total, and displacement is a vector that describes the shortest distance from point A to point B. Right? If you would like more elaboration on what I just said, you can come to office hours because displacement can be fun. A fun way to see displacement is the arrow that you can draw that is the shortest distance from 2 points, regardless of distance. All right, speed and velocity. Speed is a scalar rate and it denotes how fast an object is traveling. It measures in meters per second. Literally just means how many meters have you gone in 1 second. All right. Velocity is a vector, so you need a little more. You need speed and direction. 40 meters per second north. Your speed is 40 meters per second, but you're going north. All right. So velocity is positive or negative depending on what frame of reference you're using. All right. Typically, we will say that in the y direction, up and down is cut and dry. Up is positive, down is negative. Uh, in the horizontal direction, it can vary. Sometimes in the problem, I'll say left is positive. Sometimes I'll say right is positive. It's your job to pay attention to that and denote the details. If you choose to use north, west, south, and east for descriptions, that's totally okay too, as long as whatever makes sense to you. Acceleration is a bit more complex. It's a vector that describes the change in velocity of an object. So acceleration is measured in meters per second squared. You write it as meters per second with a 2 above it as the power. That's meters per second squared. That's kind of confusing to see if you're trying to get the point of acceleration. It can be written as meters per second, right? That may sound more confusing, but it means meters per second per second. Every second, velocity changes a certain amount of meters per second. If you're decelerating, every second you lose a certain amount of velocity, right? So, just because the acceleration is negative does not mean an object is moving backwards. If an object has a velocity of 50 meters per second and an acceleration of negative 10 meters per second squared, it'll still be moving forward for 5 seconds. That's like if a car is going 50 meters per second forward, right? And you brake, the acceleration is decelerating it at negative 10 meters per second squared. So you subtract 10 meters per second every second. So 50 minus 10 is 40. After 1 second, it'll have 40 meters per second. And then after 5, it'll have 0 because 5 seconds have elapsed of negative 10 meters per second squared. So we'll go into more details of how this acceleration changes the velocity and position for certain amounts of time. And we'll be able to calculate that mathematically and graphically. So, for the daily check-in. If a car is moving 20 meters per second and it starts braking and has an acceleration of negative 5 meters per second squared, how many seconds will it take for the car to complete stop? All right. So answer that question in the daily check-in as well. It's a short answer question, so just put both of those. You can edit it and go answer that. All right. You can look back or rewind in the video if you need help solving that. All right. So that was the lesson for today. You guys, tomorrow, Tuesday, you will have a homework assignment that is assigned that supplements this concept, and you will also have one on Wednesday. So just looking forward, you have homework on Monday and Wednesday. Oh no, Tuesday and Wednesday. They will all be due on Friday. All right. So have a great evening or morning whenever you guys watch this. All right. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.